Okay, so everybody, back with another video. This is 37 Baltimore businesses threaten to withhold part of their taxes if the city continues its anti-police policy. Yeah, so there's 37 businesses in Baltimore that are threatening to withhold part of their taxes if the city continues its anti-police policy. So if you're one of those 37 businesses, good for you. Please hold your taxes until they stop all this shenanigans with this anti-police policy. And of course, as you can see here is the police car itself. Nearly 40 Baltimore businesses are threatening to withhold part of their taxes if city officials don't address the crime and other security problems caused by the defund the police movement. Yeah, so there's nearly 40 businesses in Baltimore that are threatening to withhold part of their taxes if city officials don't address the crime and other security problems. However, the business group's letter did not specify what taxes they were threatening to withhold and do not give a deadline for this action. So there was a letter that was created by the group that did not specify what taxes they were threatening to withhold, and they did not give a deadline for this action. The letter was sent to Baltimore officials on Tuesday, June 8th. The letter complains about blatant drug dealings, public drinking, and other security issues before the people's eyes. Still, the police force is powerless because it is bound by the police policies of the city. Here, so you have this letter that was sent to them on Tuesday, June 8th, to the Baltimore officials. The letter complains about blatant drug dealings, public drinking, and other security issues. So what other security issues could there be? Breaking and entering or something? Before the people's eyes. Alright, but still the police force is powerless because it is bounded by the policies of the city. So in other words, you got Antifa / BLM, because you can't forget them, that they are the one that are doing this, that are making the police powerless. The letter was sent 2 days after 3 people were shot in 2 separate shootings at Fells Point. According to Baltimore Sun, 2 young men were shot at 1,700 blocks of Thames Street in the first incident. The second one occurred shortly thereafter close by. Yeah, so the letter was sent 2 days after 3 people were shot in 2 separate shootings, of course. This happened at Fells Point, according to Baltimore Sun. 2 young men were shot at 1,700 blocks of Thames Street in the first incident, and of course the second one occurred shortly thereafter close by. The letters warns of a prospect of people living in a culture of lawlessness that allows the kinds of violence and tragedy we've witnessed over the weekend. Yeah, so the letter did warn of a prospect of people living in a culture of lawlessness that allows the kinds of violence and tragedy we witnessed over the weekend. So, this weekend is going to be a lot of shootings going on. People are going to be dead. And of course, nothing is going to be done about it. They're just going to say, oh, nope, our hands are tied. We can't do nothing about it. So this is one of those kind of things. Baltimore is one of the cities that have decided to partially cut police funding in response to the defund the police movement that exploded after the death of George Floyd last year. Yeah, so Baltimore is one of the cities that have decided to partially cut police funding, obviously. And of course, in response to the defund the police movement that exploded after the death of George Floyd last year, because, well, of course we all know the George Floyd thing was a psyop, because it was one heck of a distraction to keep you distracted from one thing that you have to stay focused on. In addition to highlighting violence, the letter also opposes the policies of State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby. Earlier this year, Mosby announced that the state of Maryland would not prosecute a range of crimes including theft, possession of drugs, drinking, urinating in public, and other offensive or harmful behavior. So now you got this state's attorney named Marilyn Mosby. Of course, earlier this year, Mosby announced that the state of Maryland would not prosecute a range of crimes including theft, possession of drugs, drinking, and urinating in public. So even the state's attorney hands are tied too. But I think they should get up off their butts and start pushing back on all this. Start arresting these people instead of just not prosecuting them. Before the letter was sent by the group of 37 businesses, the police department in Baltimore had been facing increasing pressure from residents wanting to know what the police are doing to stem the ongoing violence. So there was before the letter was sent to the group of 37 businesses, the police department in Baltimore had been facing increasing pressure from residents. Well, yeah, the residents do have a right to be safe. They do have a right to get help in that if something is wrong. But now they want to know what the police are doing to stem the ongoing violence. And of course, the police are not doing anything in Baltimore. Their hands are tied. We can't do anything. They said defund the police, so we can't do nothing. So this is how they're acting now. Baltimore officials charged in the face of a sharp increase in crime and great pressure from the public. They now propose to increase the public forces budget by $28 million next year. So the Baltimore's official changed in the face of a sharp increase in crime and great pressure from the public, because the more the public puts pressure on the police officers, the more they're going to keep getting pressured by the residents, because they are tired of all these crimes that are going on in Baltimore. They now propose to increase the police force's budget by $28 million next year. So it's not this year, it's next year in 2022 when they'll increase the budget for $28 million. So, and of course, all this with all these anti-police policies. We're going to defund the police. We're going to do this. Yeah, we know how they're doing it, all right. It's because the Antifa/BLM, because you can't forget them, they're the ones that are doing it, because they're doing the work of the devil, and they should be punished. But knowing the police, they won't arrest them or nothing. They just, nope, our hands are tied. We can't arrest them. So you know how that is. But like I said, if you're one of the 37 businesses that is going to hold their taxes if the city continues its anti-police policy, I congratulate you on that. But if you're not, I am sorry. But it is what it is. Leave your comments below. I am out.